Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, the reason why I chose raw seasonal salads for this demo, last year I did raw fermented foods for your health, and the year before that I did sprouting, and the year before that I did raw Jewish recipes for the holiday. But what's really interesting about doing raw seasonal salads this year is, from a raw food perspective, you don't need a juicer, you don't need a blender, and you don't need a dehydrator. So in this financial environment, all you need to do is go to the store and buy yourself some leafy greens and some other veggies, and you've got a nutritional vegetable salad. By the way, my name is Robin Silberman. I didn't even introduce myself in the beginning. So, why are raw seasonal salads so important to you is the fact that you can eat through the seasons, and as long as you want to have a chlorophyll-based salad, what you need to do is buy mixed greens. If you don't want to wash and cut and do all that kind of stuff, buy some extra greens for yourself. And then augment all these greens with other vegetables. Now on your pass out, and I should probably have one for me, so I know what I'm talking about, is I categorized all these vegetables into basically 5 categories plus condiments. It's kind of like going to a Chinese restaurant, American style, where you get one from column A, and one from column B, and one from column C. The only difference is, if you want a chlorophyll-based salad, you want to choose as many from column A as are in season, and augment your greens with vegetables that are in season. Now, before I continue, in this week's issue of East Bay Express, there's an additional insert called Food. And I think I have one to show you. I think. I'm not sure. I do. Inside the East Bay Express, oh, it's called Taste, not Food. And on page 35 or 32, after the farmer market locations, on page 35, it says fruit and veggie seasonal chart. I didn't know they were going to do this. But anyway, look on this chart and look at all of the things that I have available for you today. And you can basically eat through the season just by looking at this chart. Now, I live in the East Bay, so I buy a lot of produce from Berkeley Bowl. I'm stable. And you have Rainbow Grocery here, and you also have a lot of other really good produce markets. So
what?
The trick to having a seasonal-based salad that is primarily chlorophyll-rich is to have half of your salad green and half of your salad everything else. So, when I was growing up here in San Francisco, I'm a San Francisco girl, born and raised. Back in the 50s and 60s, California salad consisted of iceberg lettuce, maybe a tomato, maybe a carrot, maybe some celery, if you were lucky a bell pepper, maybe a cucumber, and then you had these bottle dressings that were kind of orange and pink. I'm not going to mention brand names, but you know what I'm thinking about. And so that was a California salad in the 50s and 60s. And I went to visit a friend in Kansas, and their salad choices were Jell-O molds with vegetables inside of them. And I thought, I guess I'm eating all right in California. So the formula is half green and half everything else. so the salad that you're eating today had probably 20 plus vegetables in it.
It's delicious, by the way.
Thank you.
Very good, yes.
Thank you.
Really delicious.
So you had all of these guys. So these are mixed greens. You had kale, collards, mustard greens, cilantro, green onions. I don't know what else. The leafies. You have broccoli. You have purple cauliflower. You have celery, cucumber, carrots, red bell peppers, beets, tomatoes, avocados. And that's what's in your salad, plus soaked seaweed, because I don't use salt in any of my food. I normally use dulse seaweed, but I couldn't find any yesterday, so I used wakame and then kelp powder for condiments. And I know condiments aren't considered raw, but for dressings, olive oil, sesame oil. I use ponzu sauce, which is kind of like seaweed but not as salty. This is the wakame that I soaked today. This particular brand or combination wakame, it has mushrooms and scallions, and I guess it's packaged for soup, but what I do is soak it and put it in salads. Always use a citrus like a lemon or a lime. I got limes today. This is a Japanese pepper. It's called ichi. I used to be able to say this really quickly. Togarashi. It's a combination of 5 Japanese peppers. This is the kelp powder that I used. I also put some dill weed in there, some Italian seasonings. And what I didn't put in your salad dressing, because I don't know how many people use it, I love nutritional yeast. It's not raw, but it's B vitamins for people who want to get their B vitamins and they don't know where else to get it from. Again, it's not a raw food product, but I love nutritional yeast, but it's not in any of your salad dressings because I didn't know what you guys were eating. So, questions about what I've just said? Yes?
So what vegetables are known as starchy, and then I read that it's not good. Oh, there it is. To mix starched vegetables with leafy
No,
greens.
and the only starch you have in your salad are soaked lentils.
So is that true? It's not good
It's really bad for your digestive system.
to mix starched vegetables with leafy greens, got it?
No. To mix more than one starch vegetable with each other.
Oh,
So,
okay.
for instance, because I put sprouted lentils in your salad today, I'm not using corn, I'm not using peas, I'm not using sprouted wheat. The other thing I would put in here, corn is seasonal. So I would say that because starches are really difficult to digest, so you don't want to compromise your digestive system by eating more than one starchy vegetable. So for instance, if I didn't have like sprouted mungs or dookies or lentils or corn, I might use like grated yams. But if I used grated yams, I keep it really simple.
But just one thing. Only
It all depends on your digestive system. I mean, if you've got an iron, okay, so if you don't have an ironclad, stomach where you could just, eat and eat and not be bothered with what all is going on inside, then, go broke and do the whole list, spend 4 hours. But for your digestive system, you want to keep it simple. Leafy greens are like the simplest things to digest because they're very water soluble. I mean, they're high water content foods. And then you augment these greens with all these others. Now, my favorite vegetable of all time is sweet red peppers, and I eat these like apples. I buy a bag, and I sit down and I eat sweet red peppers.
And it really bothers some people's stomach. Yeah,
I
really.
love
Because it's really a fruit because it has some fruit
Well, the
in
thing
there,
is
right?
this, I put fruit and root vegetables. The difference between a fruit and a fruit vegetable is that a fruit vegetable, the plant is growing and produces a fruit, which is the vegetable. I don't know how else to explain it. For instance, this is not a fruit vegetable because it is the plant.
Right.
This is a fruit vegetable because you're not eating the plant, you're eating the fruit of the plant.
Yeah.
So for instance, bell peppers, cucumbers, these cauliflower, cabbage. Yeah, but you're not. Well, okay, and obviously tomatoes, which are fruit. But if you read down the list of the fruit and root vegetables, you'll get an idea of those vegetables that I'm talking about. Now, what I didn't bring with me, other than the lentil sprouts, which could go into under sprouts and seeds if I had sprouted this longer, you would consider the sprouts and the seeds also kind of leafy green. So if you wanted like a really, really green salad, just add any of the sprouts to the leafy green list.
How long did you soak those lentils?
Overnight.
That's all. That's all you really have to do? Okay.
Yeah, because the thing is this. I could show you, well, I know you've already eaten yours, and I need to take my glasses off. But if you'll notice, these lentils are 3 times the size of what lentils are. I bought 2 pounds of lentils, and I actually soaked 2 pounds of lentils, and what I have left out of those 2 pounds, I mean, we're talking like they absorb all the water plus. Once they've absorbed the water, they're starting the germination process. You can sprout lentils for 2, 3, 4 days, and you'll get, the little root and and that's the sprout. These are like germinated, but as long as you soak them, it's easier for the digestion, and it's just easier to eat, and you can just throw them into a salad. Normally, I have a specialty sprouted lentil salad, and I use 4 different kinds of lentils. I use these green ones, I use the red ones, I use the black belugas and the French, and I soak them separately. And then I do kind of a olive oil, lemon juice, seaweed, and so it's more of a sprouted salad rather than a green salad, but I always have greens in there, like really, really finely chopped kale and all of that stuff. But it's more of a heavier salad.
And all those lentils are okay to digest, even though they're different colors. They all act like the same thing.
Right. It's just a different kind of lentil. Yeah. We were on questions. Yes.
Can you say more about what kind of seaweed that you use? Is there any?
I normally use dulse seaweed. It's sweeter, it's milder, it's easier for people if they're not used to seaweed, because other seaweeds are, it's like you have to really like seaweed. Dulse is also, it's a redder seaweed than the green seaweeds are, but I couldn't find it. So what I normally do if I can't find dulse is I use wakame because I really like it. You can use hijiki, you can use arame. I don't use kombu because it's too difficult to clean. It's mucilaginous and I just don't like it. But what's interesting is that kelp, this is powdered kelp, I think is made out of kombu. I think, I'm not sure. It's really, really, really salty. So use just a little bit. But I don't use any salt in my food, so it's seaweed or nothing. And the reason why, a lot of people have asked me about this, and the reason is this. Most people think that if they get Himalayan salt or if they get all those fancy salts, that they're getting minerals in their diet. The thing that they don't think about is that when you put salt into your body, you're basically drying out the soft tissues of your body. Salt is a desiccant. Salt dries out your body. So when people think that they're putting salt in their body to get minerals, what they're really doing is they're really injuring the soft tissues of their body. If you want to get minerals in your diet, the best place to go is the seaweed. Now, there's a lot of controversy about all the garbage that's dumped into the sea versus all the garbage that's in the soil. But the thing is our soil is so depleted right now that I don't know how many minerals that you can get out of soil. And even if you're growing organic produce, it really depends on what kind of soil you're growing the organic produce in. And if it's as lousy and it has lost its vitality, it really doesn't matter whether your vegetables are organic or not if you're not getting the nutrition from the soil. All of your plant nutrition comes from soil. It doesn't manufacture nutrition by itself. It has to draw it up through the roots of the plant. And so if you don't have good soil, you really don't have good vegetables. So I tell people if they want minerals in their diet, you get it from seaweed. You know, I don't know. It's, you know, land versus sea, and there are a lot of natural hygienics that don't eat food from the sea because human beings aren't in the sea. I can't go there with that. I need to think about why I'm eating certain foods for my body, and seaweed is the best for minerals. So I don't put any salt in my body.
Not even the Himalayan?
No, I don't use any salt. No salt.
You said it's very salty. Is it just salty tasting, or is there a lot of salt in the seaweed? It doesn't do the same thing.
It's very. In terms of comparing taste for seaweed, this is the saltiest seaweed that I know of.
Which one is that?
Kelp.
Okay. And it doesn't damage the tissues the same way that salt does?
You know, I haven't read any studies about that kind of issue. It's just that for me, minerals, I eat seaweed every day. It's either dulse or wakame or whatever. And I always put it in my salads, and, you know, I'm still alive. I haven't dried out yet, you know, I'm soft and juicy. Questions? Yes?
You mentioned Japanese spice combination. What is the name of that?
I used to know Japanese. Ichimi Togarashi. There are several different brands. This isn't the normal brand I buy, but I found it. So it's basically 5 kinds of chili pepper, and the Japanese use it basically on everything. What's great about this is it adds a little, you know, it's like chili, it's like cracked chili pepper. But the Japanese use it because they think it ups their metabolism.
It's supposed to get the fire going.
Yeah, I really like it as a spice.
Thank you.
Robin, isn't it also referred to as sashimi? Sashimi. Sashimi. I used to work in a Japanese restaurant.
No, that's sashimi. That's fish.
No, that bottle. They used to call it like spice sashimi in Japanese.
Oh, this is ichi.
Okay. I'm not thinking about you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That would be raw. That might be the right number.
Right. Questions on what I've said so far? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to put together a salad, probably something like what you've just eaten. I don't know how much I have left of what I just fed you, but I did save a lot of stuff. So I'm a cheater, so I buy these. That way I don't have to wash and clean and think about what's in here, because everything's in here. I mean, you've got spinach, you've got 3 different kinds of lettuces, you've got arugula, you've got, you know, so I really like, you know, this. And so is that half a bowl? Maybe a little bit more? Okay. So then I'm going to add some green onions, which are these. And I'm going to add some red bell pepper.
Do every day.
Yeah, I mean, when they're in season, I buy them by, I'm not even going to to tell you. And I eat them like apples. I mean, I don't even, cut and chop and prepare. I just eat them.
What was that?
Celery.
That was celery, red pepper, celery. So we're going to add red cabbage. The other thing about seasonal salads that I didn't talk about is I think color is a really important aspect of salads and food in general. And color makes you happy, so I really like color in my food. And the other thing is, you see, these are grated carrots. The reason why I grate carrots is that I have a really hard time digesting carrots. I can't go like that. My stomach won't digest. And the reason being is because we don't chew our food enough.
I was just going to say, chew.
We don't chew our food enough. So if you take a bite of carrot and you chew it 1, 2, 3, 4 and swallow, it's a little bit different than eating grated carrots. And the other thing is, last year I spoke about raw fermented sauerkraut and veggie kraut, and carrots go into raw fermented veggie kraut because they're so hard to digest. So if I'm going to eat them raw, I eat them grated.
Honey grate everything.
My little hand grater. Well, I had a Champion juicer, but I sold it. But little hand grater is fun. So this is broccoli. Here's your broccoli. Maybe I should move these over to. Okay, so I did the red pepper. I can do the beets here. Here are the beets. See, if I did this while you were watching me, we'd be here until 10 o'clock at night.
Are the beets grated or?
The beets are grated.
Everything is grated.
Here are the lentils.
Not
Yeah, they were soaked. You can't eat lentils without soaking them, otherwise you'll crack all your teeth. Okay, I bought purple cauliflower because it was the same price as the white. And I thought, well, get purple.
Something different.
Something different, something colorful. Okay, so the celery's in here. Okay, the tomatoes, I use all the tomatoes up for your salads. So pretend they're tomatoes. Well, you know what? Since we have 2 tomatoes here, I'll cut it up for the salad.
What's the yellow thing that you put in the salad, or just kind of a lighter color?
I'm sorry?
You just put something light colored in there?
lentils.
Oh, with
Lentils.
Okay, thank you so much.
The green lentils. They told me to make salad for 100, and I did.
What about you? You don't have to do that again.
No, I mean, but for demos like this, you always make for 100 because I think this room seats 100. I think last year I didn't have enough samples. This year.
Can we have a second?
What?
Can we have seconds? That'll solve that problem.
When we're all finished, I need to save one for Dixie and one for Dixie. Okay, so now let's mix up our salad. Make sure all the leafy greens are mixed up with all the other stuff, so the greens are just not on the bottom.
Was there avocado in there?
There's avocado in your salad, but I didn't save any for the demo.
Was there olives in this salad?
I bought Kalamata olives.
Yeah, that makes it good too.
And the thing is that normally if you're going to eat olives, you don't want them brine cured. You want them oil cured. But these were brine cured, so,
And the olives are salty too.
Huh?
The olives are salty.
Yeah. And I normally don't do olive oil and olives. You can... I know you want that fat in there, but, And normally I don't do avocado and olives together because those are 2 fats together. But you guys are real special.
Was it good?
So I'm using, and the other thing I wanted to say, this is California extra virgin olive oil. You can't always find it on sale. Now, I'm near a grocery outlet in Berkeley, Oakland, $5.99 for California extra virgin olive oil. It normally costs like $15 or $16. Now, the reason why I'm stressing California instead of Italian or Spanish, there's been a real controversy around their olive oils not being 100% pure olive oil, not being 100% pure extra virgin, and just think of a locavore buying California from California, which you don't always get to do, you know, in this economic time, because you can't afford it. But when you can buy California olive oil for $5.99 and spend $7 to $9.99 for Italian or Spanish, why not get California olive oil?
Do you think we could get that at a lot of markets though?
I'm sure you can get it, but not at grocery outlet prices. $5.99 at grocery
What's the
outlet.
name of the company?
Miller's Blend, California Olive Ranch, 100% natural, unrefined, extra virgin olive oil, contains no genetically modified ingredients. I've seen it in Safeway.
Really?
Okay, for this price?
It was on sale. Well, I've used the Italian stuff for years, and somebody did a taste test for me with the California recently picked, recently pressed olive oil. I couldn't believe the difference in taste. It's so much better. Yeah, the stuff that comes long distance, you're getting a much.
It's aged. It's aged olive oil from Italy.
Yeah, right.
The only countries where I haven't heard about a controversy around olive oil is Greece, Turkey, Israel, and Palestine. But Italy and Spain are notorious for diluting their olive oils with other oils, and
also it's older.
It's older. Although there's a really interesting story. I mean, I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but this interesting story about olive oils that during World War II, the Greeks lived off of their olive oil because they had no food to eat, and they survived on olive oil. Olive oil and wild weeds in Greece. Yeah. So, there you go.
Are olives raw?
Yeah, but you can't eat them the way, you can't eat them off the tree. You have to cure them. And you either cure them with brine, which is a salt-water mixture, or you cure them in oil. You cure them in olive oil. So this is sesame oil, and I like sesame oil. This oil isn't raw, but I like it for the taste. This is ponzu sauce, which is not as salty as soy sauce, but on your list I wrote down soy sauce, nama shoyu, which is unpasteurized soy sauce, and ponzu sauce. And this is ponzu sauce. Now, read the ingredients of ponzu sauce, because one time I made a really, really bad move. I didn't read the ingredients and found out one of the ponzu sauces had bonito flake extract in it, and I really didn't. So read the labels. This one is just citrus and soy sauce, and I really, really like it. It's Italian seasonings, and we're going to use the hot pepper from Japan. And the other thing I would add in here, but I didn't soak this, is the wakame needs to be soaked, because you can't, it's like crunchy. I mean, if you wanted to eat it like crunchies, it's crunchy. And you don't want, you know, so I didn't soak this, but the ones that I put in your salad I soaked. So you're going to put a little kelp, a pinch of kelp, some dill. I like dill.
Now, if you want to be 100% raw, that would mean making sure that kelp and dill
Salt would be fine. Your dill would be sun-dried as opposed to
Or
oven-dried.
dehydrated, or you would have to, it's not all labeled.
Talk to the purists about that. I do raw food and I'm fine. I'm not real picky.
Okay.
For me, I come from my background being having eating disorders and food disorders, and for me, it's more important that instead of not eating, that I do eat, because I've been anorexic, and I need to. When I'm hungry, I need to eat, and I can't deny myself that because that goes into my own disease of food eating. So if I know that I'm eating like this kind of food, I'll eat it.
Right.
As opposed to...
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Right. Very, very good. I need to remember that. Don't sweat the small stuff. Because when you get into raw foods, it's really interesting. There are people that start from the inside out. They need to know what kind of water to drink and what kind of, and it's like, my focus is you start from the outer circle, and the more knowledge you have, you work your way into the circle. Because if you start in a really small circle, you're never going to work your way out of it because you're going to be too confined by restrictions. I mean, someone says,
right.
What kind of water do you drink? Spring water, distilled water, boiled water, tap water, bottled. I mean, drink water. You drink water, and then you decide for yourself what kind of water to drink. Because otherwise, you're just going to. It's being a raw food person is just going to be too laborious, and it's going to be too much hard work. And I'm a really lazy person around food, although a lot of people in the living foods community think, my God, you make sauerkraut, it takes so much time. But the bottom line is, I like making sauerkraut, and I like eating sauerkraut, and so I'm willing to do that for myself because I know it's making me healthy. Now you see what this salad looks like? It's green. See? It's green, but it has all those other ingredients in it. That's what a chlorophyll-based salad should look like. It should be green with lots of other ingredients in it.
Robin, you mentioned sauerkraut in another class, but
you can put sauerkraut in yourself.
I've been making it, but I'm not sure how long I'm supposed to keep it in a dark place. Would it taste
4
right?
days.
That's it?
That's it.
If it's more than that, what can happen?
Well, after 6 days, it'll start going bad if it's in room temperature.
Okay.
Are you making it real raw? No salt, no lemon juice,
No, I
vinegar?
put a little water. And
No
salt.
water.
No water, okay. Just plain.
Water does not ferment your sauerkraut.
Well, it got plenty fermented, but I left it in there a week or so.
Why did you put water in it?
I thought it needed it, but I guess it didn't. I think the first time I did it, the second time I just a teeny bit of water and Himalayan salt. Caraway seeds.
Okay, you and I are going to have to talk after
Great.
because otherwise I would just redo last year's demo.
4 days, it was not done.
We'll talk
Yeah,
after.
okay, sorry.
Okay. More questions on salads? Yes.
Change the nutrition wise of the food?
Yes, it gets better. Your food will be more nutritionally complete when you sprout, and the reason being you're changing your grain. If you're sprouting grains and legumes, you're changing it into a green plant. You get more nutrition that way. So once you're sprouting legumes and lentils and you see a little bit of a root and a stem, you know that whatever you're sprouting is growing into another entity, another form.
More life force.
More life force. So what normally is a starch, you're changing it into a green plant. Just don't. Someone once offered me sunflower seed greens that had been growing for quite some time. And I said, I can't eat this. And he said, why? And I said, because it's a plant now, and I don't want to eat a plant. I want to eat a sprout. He had been growing them. I mean, sunflower seed sprouts, for everybody who knows, you know, when they have the 2 leaves, you eat them. Well, this thing had like 4, 6, I mean, you know, I wasn't going to eat it. But,
You can't eat it then? It's not good for you?
no, then you're getting into eating plants rather than eating sprouts. There's a reason, especially for sunflower seeds, you're taking a seed with a whole lot of fat content and you're changing it into a green vegetable that has lots of protein and enzymes in it. If that sprout keeps growing into a plant, then you're eating the other iteration of it. So yeah, it's like eating a rose bush. Other questions? Yes.
We follow the Dougal, the Goldhammer, and Esselstyn diet. You know, that's a vegan diet without any added oil. So, is there a substitute for oil?
Do you do avocados?
Yeah.
Avocados, bar none, avocados are the best fat to put into your body. Why? Because it's the only oil that's water soluble. It's plant-based rather than coming from a plant. It is a plant, and you always want to use the closest thing to the ground for your food. So avocados are the best fats to eat.
Do you consider oil part of a raw food diet? I know
Some people do, some people don't, and as I said, I'm lazy. If I want a little bit more fat, you know, I use olive oil. I like the taste of sesame oil. I used to live in the Middle East, so sesame oil wasn't there. So I really like sesame oil.
What kind of dressing did you use in the first salad? And do you make the dressing first and mix it and then pour it on, or do you put the olive oil first?
No, I did the dressing all together. I don't measure anything. As I said, I'm really lazy. So the rule of thumb about using oils and other things is 2/3. I'm going to get this wrong. Forget it. It's either is it 1/3 oil? I don't know. I just pour. Numbers get me really confused. Anyway, normal dressings, you know, like an Italian dressing, it's oil and vinegar. I don't use vinegars because vinegars kill enzymes in food. Unless you're using raw apple cider vinegar, and even then I really question it. I would rather use, if you're going to be using an acid in your salad, rather than using vinegar, I use citrus. I use lemon juice, I use lime juice. Every once in a while I use grapefruit juice because I really love grapefruits. But lemon and lime will substitute for any kind of vinegar. Again, it's a plant rather than you getting it from a bottle. And again, acids kill enzymes in food. Vinegar's an acid. So I don't use vinegars.
Robin, since you make enough to eat at one sitting and not have to store it.
I store.
Okay.
I told you I'm lazy.
Okay. Then did you make enough now for 1, 2, or 3 servings? Sure.
This is a lot. I mean,
It seems like a lot.
this is real. This is a lot. This is 2 days. Lunch and lunch and dinner. I would add like more lentils to it. I mean, to make it a heavier salad. Yeah. I would do this. Or cut it in half and stuff the salad in. Me and red peppers are just. If I could marry a vegetable, this would be mine. It's too bad they're not. You know, they're only available late summer, early fall. And it's really. I mean, I'm a gardener, and they're really hard to grow if you don't live in a climate that's 85 degrees every day, you know?
Do you freeze them? Do you chop them up and freeze them and use them later?
I don't. I don't too much. No, I like fresh. I like fresh. Yes.
When you're making salad dressing, what kind of oils and
I only use olive oil and sesame oil as oil. I don't, and even those, I mean, and sometimes I question me using them. I don't really need more fat in my body, but avocado is my first choice. Olive oil and or sesame oil. I don't use any other kinds of oils because they're all heat treated and they're you know, don't even bother. Don't even bother. A lot of people in the raw food community tout coconut oil. I think it's good for island people. I'm not really sure it's good for us northern people. I'm not into coconuts anyway, so I don't use coconuts. But a lot of people in the raw food community love coconut oil for their foods, and I don't, so I don't use them. You have to, you know, there are a lot of people in the raw food community who do things that are instinctive for their bodies, you know, and that's what I do. I mean, there are a lot of raw foods that I don't eat because it's like my body doesn't need to eat that way. I mean, I know I don't live in the tropics, but I love mangoes. But I lived in Puerto Rico for 4 months, and so I really grew to love mangoes. I never ate a mango before I went to Puerto Rico, so now, you know, now I eat mangoes.
You can put it in that salad.
Huh? I don't mix fruit and vegetables in any of my salads because it's bad for the digestion, bad for my digestion, which is why there are no fruits on this list. Other people mix and match and put nuts, and I don't do any of that stuff. My digestive system needs to eat really simple food combinations, otherwise I get really, really sick. I just can't digest a whole lot of food and food combinations, so my body does better when I eat really simple foods.
So is the only concern when you're mixing and mixing and mixing digestive, or are there concerns that some things cancel out nutrients and other things and that type of process? I don't think there are foods that cancel out other foods nutritionally, except for if you're using acids that kill enzymes in other foods, which are like vinegars and that kind of thing. It's more of a digestive thing. I mean, so it's just a personal.
In natural hygiene, and I'm not a natural hygienist, but in natural hygiene, they came up with a very simple way to eat all your basic food groups. You've got fats, starches, and proteins. You're not supposed to eat fats and proteins together or starches and fats together. And if you were going to eat, close your ears, folks, meat, then you would eat it with a green salad. You wouldn't eat it with a baked potato. And sandwiches are obviously forbidden because it's a carbohydrate and a protein. So there are really simple food combinations that stem from a carbohydrate, a protein, and a fat-based diet. Now, here I'm trying to encourage people to eat a chlorophyll-based salad all year round, basically because if you base your diet on chlorophyll, which is basically plant blood. I mean, there's very little difference between chlorophyll and human blood, except for one, and I'm not a scientist, but I saw it in the Ann Wigmore book. One is hemoglobin and the other is something else. So human blood is hemoglobin and chlorophyll is something else. But basically, so a chlorophyll-based diet is basically you're eating the energy from the sun that has been digested in the plants that you're eating. I mean, what better nutrition is there? Because it's, you know, and that's what chlorophyll is. That's not protein, that's not fat, and that's not carbs. That's chlorophyll. So what's left out of else talking about, you know, protein loading and carbo loading and fats and all that stuff, is that nobody talks about chlorophyll. You know, they fit chlorophyll plants into, is it a protein, is it a fat, is it a starch? And my feeling is that if you eat leafy greens and sprouts, you're eating a chlorophyll-based diet. You add things to the chlorophyll-based diet in order to get the perfect nutrition for your body. Now, if you need more fats in your diet, or you need, you know, there are a lot of skinny people out there who need to eat more. And I'm not being weight prejudiced in any way. There are thin people who don't eat right, and there are fat people who don't eat right. But there are also thin people who do eat right and fat people who do eat right. And it's all based on how they feel and work with their body. I probably eat a whole lot less than a lot of other people do, but I don't digest my food the way other people eat. And so, you know, there are people who can eat 7,000 calories and look very, very thin. It's because their metabolism and their digestive systems are different than mine. You know, I barely digest the food that I eat. I can go for days without eating, which led me into food and eating disorders because I'm never hungry. It doesn't look like I'm never hungry, you know, but I can go for days without eating because I just don't digest food. So it's, you know, it's never judge a book by its cover, because I don't know why people look at them, you know. Anyway, what was the question?
Good one, yeah.
I can go on and on and on talking.
So combining
Yeah.
whatever you want, the main concern is digestion and your own body, how it's going to respond to
Right.
combinations.
So try it out. I mean, if you're really new into food combining, my suggestions would be follow the basics. Don't eat proteins with starches, don't eat proteins with fats, but you can eat green vegetables with starches and with fats.
And there's the whole fruit thing.
And then there's the whole fruit thing. I can't do fruits and vegetables together, so I don't even try. I mean, I wake up in the morning and I do fruit, and that's my breakfast.
That's the best time to eat it.
That's my breakfast, and that's good for me. Other people, you know, they eat fruit and an hour later they're hungry, and I'm not. So, you know.
Is watercress something?
Watercress, it's a green leafy.
Great.
It's great. It's not on here. You know, I forgot to put down mustard greens on here. I forgot to put down watercress. So add to this list. I mean, walk through the supermarket and see what's on the list and what's not on the list. And just keep adding to it.
What are mushrooms?
Mushrooms are a fungi, and they're not chlorophyll based. A lot of raw people don't eat them. I do eat them, but I mostly eat shiitake mushrooms.
So they're just in their own category as fungi.
Yeah. Because they're growing, a lot of raw food people won't eat them because they're growing off of decay. Which is true.
Which is why it's called fungi.
Why it's called fungi. Other questions? I don't know how we're doing on time. Oh, wow. Look at that. More questions on salads. Yes?
So I've never done this, but I noticed you've got on the grains, legumes, and starches like yams and sweet potatoes. So they're easy to eat raw.
Yeah, my suggestion for yams and sweet potatoes is that you grate them and soak them in cold salted water to get a lot of the starch out of them. The reason why you don't see white potatoes on this list is because when you soak starch out of a white potato, it tastes like cardboard. It's tasteless. And the reason why we all love potatoes is because of the starch. Starch tastes really, really good when it's cooked. It tastes horrible when it's raw.
So if you take the starch out of the yams...
Well, if you take the starch out of the yams and the sweet potatoes, you're still getting the fiber and you're getting the nutrition. You're just not getting the starch as much. And the thing is if you grate a sweet potato, you'll notice some some white stuff coming out of it. That's the starch coming out of the potato. Soak it in cold salted water, doesn't matter how long, 10, 20 minutes, half an hour. For a white potato, you'll actually see the starch going to the bottom of your dish. I'm not quite sure you'll see that in a yam or a sweet potato, but you know, yams and sweet potatoes are really starchy, but they're also very nutritious.
Including the skin, or you peel it, right?
Yes,
So
but
you can leave the skin on?
Oh, yes.
Oh, great.
Other questions about salad?
Sweet potato, do you cut it, then soak it or grate it?
Yeah, you have to, you can't just soak the whole sweet potato.
Yeah, correct, but
You can cut it, you can grate it, stick it in a bowl of cold salted water, and then after a while you'll just take it out, and it'll look like grated carrots. Yeah, you just, without the starch. Huh? Sugar is starch.
Yeah.
Sugar is the byproduct of starch digestion. Yeah.
And does it taste, does it still taste the same?
For a sweet potato, yeah, it's less starchy. It tastes like grated carrots.
Okay.
It tastes like grated carrots. I mean, the difference between, they're both root vegetables. These have a lot of water content in them.
Right.
That's why people make carrot juice. But you drink carrot juice and you're getting a whole lot of sugar in your body. When I drink carrot juice, I have to have something mixed with it, otherwise.
Yeah, I've heard.
I'm not quite sure you can make sweet potato juice. But they're root vegetable. Other questions about raw seasonal salads? Yes.
What do you do with your broccoli stems? How many?
I eat them. Oh, I didn't show you that trick. Okay, I did this last year too. How many people grew up eating broccoli stems? I want to see your hands raised.
Broccoli stems?
Oh, come on! Did you really?
The whole thing, yeah. Not the very ends, but yeah.
I did not grow up eating broccoli stems. I'm being honest.
But it was probably overly cooked, right?
I learned how to eat broccoli from my bird. I told you the story last year. I have a 32-year-old umbrella cockatoo. She's a big white bird. And I handed her a broccoli. She turned it around in her claw and started eating the stem. She taught me the stem has more nutrition in it than this part does because this is the end product of the growth. This is the flower of the broccoli. So, you peel the stem. I can't believe that story. It's now 2 years. 2 years I've been doing this. Okay. So you now have a peeled broccoli. Now what's really interesting, growing up in California, thinking that you eat really nutritionally, is I didn't grow up eating broccoli stems. The agricultural community is now making broccoli slaw. What are they making broccoli slaw out of? Broccoli stems. Why? Because they can make more money eating the whole.
Yeah, why throw it out when it's so, you should eat it.
I didn't grow up eating broccoli, so we threw these things out when I was growing up.
Especially if you grate it, because it's easier to eat.
Sure.
Small pieces.
Well, you know. I mean, is this simple? And you can save money by eating.
Yeah, throw it out.
Yeah, I give my bird broccoli, and she will eat until it gets to the flower part, and she won't eat the flower.
Wow.
She will not eat this. She loves broccoli, though. She loves broccoli. She loves sweet potato, red sweet red pepper. She loves cucumber. You know what she does with the cucumber? I mean, people who don't have birds are probably closing their ears now. I brag about my bird. She eats the seed part out of the cucumber and leaves the rest of it. She knows this part is more nutritious. How does she know that? She's a bird!
Because they're not her brain.
Because there are teachers.
Huh?
The animals are our teachers.
Just watch the way your pet eats. But you have to feed it. You have to be giving it nutritional food in order for you to learn how to eat that food. You know, you can't just give it. I mean, she eats human food. I mean, I give her tofu for protein and calcium and stuff. But I mean, she will eat the seed part out of here because the seed part is the most nutritious part of the plant. How does she know that?
I didn't throw that out because I heard it was hard to digest, so I threw out the seeds.
The most nutritious, because this is where the new plant comes from. How do these animals are so intelligent? Okay, more questions. I can talk until I more questions about salads. How many people in this room came to my sauerkraut demo last year? How many people are making sauerkraut?
How many people make it? I eat it, but I don't make it.
Come, I'm going to be hanging out in the San Francisco Living Foods table. Come to me with your questions about last year, this year. I'm going to be cleaning up now. Thank you. Let me take two.
Is your table out there the wrong?
It's the second.